All right, our janky little podcast is back. Jay Bird's with us, and we got a new guest. Go ahead.
I'm George Nass, born and raised in Plains, guided and outfitted and a little of everything my whole life, pretty much local.
Hunted these woods.
Trap, fish, yeah.
Lots of years.
Too many.
Too many years.
Be 52 in May. I feel it.
You got them wore out knees yet?
Oh, bet. Yeah, arthritis, I was told. Yes, yeah. It's a good thing I'm bullheaded because then I keep going.
Are you going to get knee replacements?
I got a feeling I probably have to.
Yeah.
I got that feeling that.
Are you going to put it off for 40 years, or are you going to get it done so you can enjoy
I'm hoping if I can make it through the next 10 with what I got, then I'll probably look into it pretty hard. But if it happens and if it slows me down from hunting, then I'll probably get it done quicker.
Usually men will be like, no, I can go another year or two, and then they're 80 years old and can't walk.
Then it's too late.
Yeah. And they've lived in pain for 20 years.
I think she's referring to my dad.
Yeah, your dad and most men,
most
really.
Men.
Well, I'm stuck in my prime.
Oh, yeah.
Mentally, I am. I'm still like 13 or something, maybe 15, 10. Anyway, depend on the day what age I am mentally. But yeah, the knees are the ones that I'm noticing in the mountains, and especially packing out at elk downhill. The next day is like, oh.
I wonder how much like a lifetime of packing elk actually grinds your body out, because it is super hard on joints.
That packing in that mountains, it takes a pretty good toll on I think your knees mainly, but
especially guiding, because most people pack 1 or 2 elk a year. When you're packing dozens plus, helping buddies, other places.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of grinding.
Yeah, because there's been many days on your day off. I'm sure you guys, get a phone call. Hey, I got a bull down. Back of your mind's like, no, I don't want to do nothing. But
11:30 at night. Hey, what are you doing tomorrow? Because we're going to be out all night.
And you almost can't tell him no, because then you're like, well, I'm going to need a favor too, and I can call this in.
You can call it in. And to me, I love the pack out. I think that's just, in a way, the funnest part, even though it's going to break you down at some point in time. But I think that's the coolest part, is getting it out of there.
So how did George get into hunting? Family.
My dad was a big hunter, was an outfitter in Bob Marshall years and years ago.
Okay.
And then he was in construction, but the only things that we ever agreed on was hunting.
Huh,
everything else we never.
Father and I.
I couldn't work with him. We'd kill each other. But hunting, it was just fun.
This is my dad and I. This is our story.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Did you always live in Montana?
I was born and raised in Plains. Moved out. We moved to Kalispell for, I think it was about 12 years. Worked up there and stuff. And I still hunted. And I didn't guide anything at all up there. Just did log furniture work and build and stuff, and then decided to move back to Plains in 06. And then I think it was 07 or 08, I went back into guiding, and I think I took a couple years off. I get burnt out sometimes with just the BS of it, and some clients are great, some aren't.
Yep.
And those ones that aren't just bring you down.
They can ruin it sometimes.
They can.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. Yes, 100%. That. Because you get guys that you just like, I could hunt with this dude.
Yep.
And you're just fired up. And then you get guys that, I had one, the fifth, it was just a fall bear hunt. The 5th day I said one sentence. I said, you going to go out today or not? And he said, oh, we might do this and that. And I said, fine, I'll be over here, let me know. Never talked to him until that evening. That's how bad I hated this guy.
What I hate is whenever you literally try. You're trying so hard, you're going much farther than what you probably should even have to, and it's not taken in appreciation.
Yep.
And
it's like, why try?
But we were talking just before we started the podcast that we had thought that it is getting quite a bit better, especially this last year, and we talked about predators running this country pretty hard, and it's big, thick country, so it's hard to hunt it out. You can't see everything. You can't shoot all the predator, and not a lot of people predator hunt, to be honest with you, around here.
Spring bear is popular, but anybody, there's a few good wolf trappers, which I think has helped a ton.
Yep.
I physically have not seen a wolf in, I think, 8 years, and I'm out there 200 days a year. It's just, and then I talked to other people. It's like, I just took a drive and saw 4. And I'm like, why can't I see these things? But I always have the gun in the truck. Maybe I should leave it, and I'd probably see one. But then the mountain lions are getting popular, so their population's coming down.
Yeah, and our biologists, they're wanting to knock the population down in this area 30 to 40%, and that sucks for us as lion hunters.
It does. Yeah, it's great for deer and elk, like we mentioned earlier before this, that we want both.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to go out and catch 30, 40 lions a year and go out and shoot 180-inch muleys. But
the two together
just, they don't work. So yeah, we have to kind of suck it up and go, well, we might have a few tough years of cat hunting, but we should have great years of deer and elk hunting. So.
Right, and from the state's standpoint, too, it's what's going to make them the most money, and the biggest revenue is going to, come from the deer and elk. There's going to be more people coming for that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, that's the biggest revenue of the state is non-resident tags. That's what brings the money in. If they're killing 19 cats in just our unit, that's not gonna feed a bunch of families' mouths. In our local area. The hunters coming in as a local, you don't want non-residents coming in and hunting your area. But then again, they're eating at the restaurant. They're getting gas.
So I was, like I said earlier, my dad was an outfitter for however time. So I have that kind of mental way of all these out-of-staters, some are good, some are bad, that come in, but they're spending a ton of money in Montana.
Yep.
Most of those guys they're not beating the ground like we do, so they're here for 5 to 7 days and then they're gone. I know of guys in Plains that they see a forky muley, they're shooting it, where most non-residents probably won't shoot that forky because they want something.
Yeah.
Right. Why'd they come all this way to, shoot a forky and they can do that anywhere?
Yeah. Yeah. I've had a ton of people pass up, from back east, pass up 150-inch whitetails. Like I've shot those. I've shot bigger than that. I don't want that. I want a muley.
We do every year. We have the same thing
happen. Where you get somebody local, there's no way in hell they're passing up a 150-inch whitetail.
No.
Not a chance, so you got the double-edged sword, with the locals and non-residents of, it's good and it's bad. So.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll ever be at peace with that. You know what I mean?
I don't think so.
It's hunting. Everybody's jealous of it.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the hound world of how bad we hate each other sometimes. It is. It's a war out there.
Facebook went nuts this winter. I mean,
I don't do Facebook. I'm in on Instagram, but
I had to stop putting pictures of lion kills and everything on Facebook. We were getting threatened. My kids started getting threatened. These people actually found from our business profile, found me, and then found the kids, and they were threatening them, and I was like, this is too much. This is completely insane.
And it was any women that kill a lion, it was always more, they would get ridiculed way worse than, she put a picture of the lion I killed. We didn't get one comment.
Really?
Nothing.
And then that one girl, she killed a really nice tom, and she just got blasted on Facebook. It was crazy. And
Lord.
A lot of people had the argument, why kill this because you're not going to eat it? And it's like, no, yes we do.
Yeah.
I really like mountain lion. Probably second best to elk, but I've been preparing a bunch of mountain lion all winter long because a lot of clients were like, I don't know if I can eat that.
Eat it.
And then they would give it to us. I'm like, well, we will. It's really good.
Oh man, I'll kind of one up on that one. If I got elk or mountain lion hamburger or steak, I'm usually going for the mountain lion.
Yeah.
And my ex now, she's always like, don't tell people that, because we used to get 10, 12 cats a year carcass, nobody wanted, and my freezer was just full. And now I get 3 or 4 because people they're realizing how great it tastes.
Yeah.
It's not gamey at all.
No, it's so mild. I mean, to me, if you take a backstrap of a lion and a chunk of pork chop, you can't tell the difference.
No.
I mean, it's identical.
Yeah, texture,
coarse meat, everything.
Kind of gets that little bit of dryness if it. Same as a pork loin.
Yeah, I'll give some to people, and they're like, "How do you cook it?" I'm like, exactly like a pork chop. Mm-hmm. I said, just no medium rare, just cook it just like a pork chop. And they'll be like, oh, crap, that was great.
Yeah, we made jerky, and then I have salami drying. I made some salami out of it to see if that's good. Just because we get so much of it donated to us, and I'm like, I've got to figure out how to get, do different things with it. But
yeah, because I mean, with lion, you can't really feed it to the clients.
Yeah,
because some are going to like it, some are going to have a conniption fit that they ate a cat.
Yeah.
Whereas deer and elk, you can just throw that all out there all you want, and they're like, oh, cool. So yeah, you can't. You get too much, and you're like, well, okay, I got to do something different. But
yep. That's what we do on Saturdays. We do organ donation dinners because a lot of people don't try like the liver or the heart or tongue, testicles, all that, so they can donate it to the lodge and
donate.
Yes, donate it.
Yes. Yep. So you had me until you said liver and testicles. I'll cut it off there. I won't. No. Any elk tongues, I usually give them to my ex. She loves the tongue and stuff. But in the heart, I like the heart. But yeah, liver, no. No, I can't do those. No.
The testicles end up being like the most popular. They're like, I can't believe this is so good. But liver, I hate liver. I'll prepare it, but I don't know. I don't like
that
it.
liver. That was
that
so
one
rank
liver
this
was
year.
so bad.
That bull was like 8 years old. It was terrible.
Yeah, I tried.
Yeah, I'm not a liver fan. I've left a pair of underwear in the bob after eating some liver. Probably still hanging in the tree.
Still hanging. Nothing's touching it.
Well, we got some elk burger given to us, and I swear that elk come back to life and pissed on the game bag. I'm telling you, it tastes like you're eating wallow mud.
Oh, man. Jeez. The bull I got this year is really good. He was really good flavor and not too tough. He wasn't a super old bull. The bull I shot, I guess, 2 years ago this fall, I got him over by Ashland, eastern Montana, on that draw tag. And a local guy here, he had the tag the year before, and he said, when you're butchering that, he says, you'll smell cattle. And I'm like, just kind of, okay. And as I was by myself and in the dark butchering that thing, and I'm just like, man, I smell cattle. And it's that freaking elk.
Really?
Because they go down into town on those big alfalfa pivots. And when you were skinned him, he had that yellow fat instead of the bulls here, like the white fat.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dude's right. And man, I got home and we ate that thing, and that's the best elk I've ever tasted. I mean, it's almost like a beef that you're eating over there. So they're a different breed over there, though, but compared to our hard-earned elk here.
Hard-earned elk here.
They just taste good because how much you put effort into it here.
Yeah, the elk being hard to hunt here, we always say how hard they are to hunt here, but it can also, that makes it more of a challenge. Why would you want to come to a place and hunt when it's harder to hunt the elk here because of the country? And I think the age demographic of the elk are a little bit older, just because the thickness of the terrain and
terrain and
we sell our hunts as like that would be one of the things that you would look for to increase the odds of getting an elk, is where no one else wants to hunt. Think of things that would limit people to coming to that area. Because you don't want to hunt a spot where it's heavy access, a lot of people in the woods, especially for archery elk hunting, which that's probably the best around here. I think personally, I would rather archery hunt than rifle hunt.
I would agree. I enjoy archery elk hunting more, even though, like I mentioned earlier, it's like a roller coaster of emotions. But like I said, you get a bull at 20 yards and you can't get a shot. Where a rifle, you'd kill it.
Yep.
But I've never had a bull at 20 yards in rifle season over here.
The opportunity doesn't happen that much.
No, so yeah, and then it seems like in rifle, once those elk hit that timber, it's, and the snow gets crunchy, you ain't walking in there.
No.
I mean, it's just pure luck if you do. So
you got to be a serious hunter to kill big bulls in rifle season here, or it's a lot of luck.
It's luck. Yeah. I know the one I shot, that was six years ago. I was going to cut firewood and spotted a spike bull on the hillside and went, well, I might as well walk up there. And then there was a bull that was probably my biggest bull, if he wouldn't have been broke and everything. But But yeah, he was just off to the side, and that was a half mile from a main road up Thompson River. So to me, that's just luck. You know, he just right spot, right time.
Yeah, we always do the percentage and how many. If someone does a DIY or you go elk hunting, it should be you kill a bull every 10 years is kind of how the math works out. If you do everybody. And then you got certain guys, they kill a bull every year.
Yep.
And then it messes the numbers up. And people, I think, they don't understand how hard an elk is to hunt.
They don't. No.
They don't justify. People, we don't give them the right justification or the credit that they deserve.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't shoot my first bull until I was 42. And I'll be 52 in May. But a lot of that I guided. And then when I did have time to go hunting, I went after muleys.
Yeah.
You know, I bow hunted a little as a kid, but not much. But rifle, it was like, no, I'm going after muleys. That was just the bottom line. And if I didn't get a big muley, then the last week of season, it's like, well, got to go shoot a whitetail for meat. And never got into elk like I am now. So the last, that was 10 years ago, I shot that bull, and I've shot, I think five in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Two with my bow, and then I guess 3 with the rifle.
Jay loves the mule deer hunt.
I do.
Jay's a mule deer connoisseur.
I don't think there's anything better.
I agree.
I mean, it can be iffy when you got a bull screaming at you at 12 yards, but I'd rather have a 190 at 400 yards on the hillside.
So what
with
intrigues
kickers.
What intrigues you boys about the mule deer? The rut, I'm sure.
They're cool.
Yeah.
I mean, an elk's kind of cool, I guess, but
yeah, an elk's cool, but I don't know. It's just the king of the mountain for me. Yeah. I just like the places that they take you to, and I don't know. There's just something about a mature mule deer doing his thing up on the mountain. I don't know. I'm obsessed with them. I just love them.
I will say the fringe country is way better to sit and look over on a sunny day than in a crappy, dark hole, choked brush for a big bull elk. It is.
Yeah, and like that time of the year, when we're hunting mule deer during the rut, like I like the rifle hunt, kind of that style, and mule deer get me to hunt that way,
Mm-hmm.
Big gun, big optics, big country. What kind of gun you toting around?
300 win. Yeah.
Have you got into all this long distance stuff? Oh yeah.
I have. Yeah. I like it.
Mule deer hunter, he says.
But it's that's kind of like houndsman. It's a fine line where it's people are. What I don't like about it, I guess, is nowadays you can just go down and buy a gun. You spend $6,000, you can get a pretty dang shooting gun with a scope on it already. Does it mean you're going to go out there and shoot at a deer at 1,200 yards and make one shot? Probably not. You better do some practice.
Just a lot of variables involved.
Yeah.
I hate when a guy judges it. They're like, "Oh, you shoot 1,000 yards. You ain't got to." Dude, we just hiked 5 miles to get into this spot to be able to shoot 1,000 yards. And the 1,000 yard shot is about all you can do here.
That's it.
Or, you know what I mean?
In this country, especially, and that because I know guys from back east that we get for clients, and well, what's your range? I've never shot past 300. For us out here, we're just like, holy crap, 300. That's I use a 30-30 for that.
Yeah. I think I could freehand that.
Yeah. Actually, here, hold on. I got my pistol here. Yeah. So I don't know. To me, it's more adrenaline, I guess, in a way, if that makes sense. I shot my buck this year on opening day at 600, which to me, that's just an average shot here.
To me also, honestly, I wouldn't even, I'd be like, yeah, that's a good shot.
Yeah. You take 20 years ago and they're just like, I can't see that far. But just the modern technology we have, it's if you practice, to me, it's not that hard of a shot.
It's very, very doable.
Yeah.
And repeatable.
Yeah. But you got to do your studying on what bullet to use, that can be an argument right there in itself of different calibers. And,
yep.
The 6.5 Creedmoor is a huge war zone there that's what I got my boy. Yeah. And I won't let him shoot past 400 with it because just the foot poundage I know is not that great once you get past. I know it'll shoot farther, but to me, the ethically thing of a deer or an animal that I want it the best chance I can get it to drop it.
Yep. So how do you think our biologists are doing? Do you think, since our animals are on probably, let's just say they're on the upswing if we go by biologist numbers. My dad's the worst one. I've seen this many deer, this many this, that, and the only thing I didn't see in the woods this year was a biologist. And his generation, they don't like those type of people. They think that hunters are the, and I don't know, I think there might be a difference that needs to come about because everybody in hunting world is so my sport, and a biologist, he's dealing with everybody.
With everybody, yeah.
And he's like building this beautiful garden, and then we go and destroy it every year.
Yep.
And we have a ton of respect. We think the biologist here is doing an extremely good job. I probably text him so much that he doesn't like me anymore. I told him straight up, I was like, I rely on my livelihood of you doing a good job, so I want to keep involved with everything.
Yeah.
So do you think there's a difference, like outfitters and hunters need to like maybe make, instead of staying just like at their home where they feel comfortable in amongst with their other peers, you think it's time for us to step outside of that, maybe with the amount of people we have using national forests, things like that? Hunting is on a decline, like the popularity of it.
Yeah. So I've not met our biologist here at all yet. I met the warden, Travis, just a handful of times. Seems to be a good dude. Even though he slow to text back sometimes, if you're listening.
Yeah.
But so when I was a young kid or teenager, when we had a game warden here and I was out, guiding before I could, and back then nobody cared. Yeah. But I noticed back then that they would actually come to the outfitter or the guides and the people that they knew were in the woods constantly, and there'd be like, any concerns, what are you seeing, not, and then they would listen to you and away they go. And then it seemed like it kind of got out of that, where to me the outfitters and the guides, especially the guides that are out there every day, killing themselves out there, they're going to see everything. Yeah. We're okay, we got to worry about there's no elk in this drainage anymore. Why? But it seems like our Fish and Game, and it could be just me, but it seems like they're like just pushed you away. Like, well, you haven't gone to the schooling that we did, so you don't know.
Yep.
Right. There's no communication between the two. It doesn't seem like,
And that's what I've noticed, compared to years ago till, and I'm not the greatest fan of our Fish and Game because some of our laws are just
stupid.
Exactly. Like, why do I have to wear orange to shoot a mountain lion?
Oh, dude. I don't want to know why we have to wear orange, period.
I am too. I could care less either way on deer and elk season if you got to wear orange. If you want to wear an orange vest, go for it. If you don't, I know what I'm shooting at.
Yeah.
And, not this 2 game wardens before this one. The first time I was outfitting at that time, and we had a meeting with him, and one of the other outfitters asked him, if we have a predator problem here. And he's like, no, I don't think so. And the outfitter goes, this is 10 years ago, 10 years ago. And he goes, we have way too many bears. Yeah, I agree. We have too many bears. And I'm like, that's a predator. And he just kind of stared at me. I'm like, okay. And then I said, well, why do we have to wear orange for cats? He goes, well, that's a big game animal. You have to wear orange for big game animal hunting. And I said, well, wolves aren't big game. We don't have to wear orange to hunt wolves. He goes, well, that's different. I'm like, but then they won't answer you why. It's just, that's their saying is, this is different.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I would rather have orange on a dude sitting on the ground if we're calling wolves in than a dude getting ready to shoot a cat in a tree. I'm pretty sure it's a cat in a tree. It's not some dude up there.
Yeah. we've run this thing for 2 hours.
If my dog's tree a dude in that tree, I'm probably shooting him because he did something wrong.
Yeah. Or someone can hike. You can hike in on the trail, and you have to wear all your orange to display you're a hunter, and that's why I think we have to wear it. And then someone else can come hiking in right behind you, and they can be 200 yards down the trail from you, and they don't have to wear orange.
No, if they're just taking a hike.
Yeah, because they're hiking and not hunting.
Yep.
Yeah, there is some stupid laws out there. I will agree. But as a whole, I think it is, they're doing a pretty good job in our area. Travis is super nice. I've always had good dealings with him.
Yeah. I think with Travis, like I said, I've only met him a few times, but I think he's got a lot of common sense.
He does.
Where he's not looking at you like, what did they do?
Right.
He's looking at like, okay, what happened?
Yep.
And that's what, and Morgan Post was a game warden before,
Yep.
Travis. And I really liked Morgan. He was I think the same way.
Yep.
I ran a cat for Morgan once in November, just a treble mountain lion that we had to get rid of. And, no stupid questions of, like, are you sure this is how that happened?
Right.
Yeah, I was there. I know how it happened. But then on the other side of that, on their defense, there is some people out there that, so then they see that and then it kind of gets in a lump, how that always goes. But for what I've seen with Travis doing, I think he's doing a decent job. And it's all the stuff that I've heard that's happened to other people, it's like he's treated them very fairly. So
yeah, absolutely. I feel like as a game warden, you need to have, some people in the community on your side. It makes your life a lot easier, I would imagine, if you have people that you can, talk to and trust, they're going to look out for you and
that's it too.
Tell you things if, need be.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, if it, like a game warden in the past, I won't say his name, if something went down bad, I'm pretty sure nobody in the community would turn the other way and just walk off.
Yep.
Which if you're a single game warden here, it's like, dang, I got to deal with a lot of people.
Yeah.
So if you have a few behind you and backing you up, then that'd be a good thing.
Absolutely. There's a lot of country to deal with, and not enough resources, time, or anything to really do their job.
I think right now we're in a really good transitional area where, the Forest Service and FWP and all that is going to start working with outfitters and vice versa. Outfitters and guides are going to have to start working with them because of, all the layoffs that are going on and everything's kind of up in the air. Outfitters and guides, they rely on public land for, income. And it like pushes us to do everything right, follow the rules, teach the guides to do everything right, follow the rules. And then the guides have to tell the clients, this is how we do things here, and because your business is on the line.
Yep.
And I think that FWP, the Forest Service, can really utilize that with outfitters, just kind of to know what's like happening on the landscape, the trails, clearing, and like it could just trickle down. But I think with all the changes happening, that if we all work together, that would be like, it would be great. Like it's weird that we're sitting in like a transitional time where it could go one way where we all work together, or it could go another way and everyone hate each other.
Exactly.
And so
it's kind of a fine line too, because like I know there's a bunch of jokes going around on Instagram and stuff about, the trails. They laid off trail crews, and I'm like, I haven't seen trail crews in years.
Yeah, I've never even.
It's us.
Maybe once.
Yeah.
And.
So nothing, not to throw them under the bus. It's just they haven't had the trail crews,
right?
Even though they supposed to, but yes, a lot of the trails is like we're out there cutting the main trails out, and stuff. So it's like, well, let's just keep us doing that. And I know there's a program, that the Forest Service did, that if you cut certain trails, you kind of get reimbursed off your fees and stuff, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, they're working on bringing that back. I just got an email about that for Region 1, because I think that Region 1 has the most problems with trail crews and that kind of stuff. But it could also be because our terrain is horrible, and you could clear a whole trail, a windstorm come in, and then you're done.
A week later, it's the same.
Yeah.
So that is the downside here, is that
lodgepole pine.
Yep. Yeah. And then a lot of the forest fires, all that stuff is falling. And, so it don't take. There's days that you cut in and then you're walking back out and you're like, oh, there's a freaking tree in the trail. So it just happens here. So I don't believe they should be out there every week cutting everything, but like springtime once, and then like in August if it ain't gonna chance a fire, but then that's rough too. In August, it's always dry,
hot,
and it's hot and miserable. And I always try to go out there in like June, but then there's always a windstorm after that. So there's still going to be trees down no matter when you cut it.
You almost can't win.
For trails you can't really. It's just, but you got to keep. I believe that they should be kept up, at least.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they have to be.
that's it. Yeah. I mean, they're a huge history here. I mean, all this stuff here's got, I know one of the old timers there in Plains that was one of the first outfitters, and you get him riled up, just mention trails, he'll lose it. He just goes on a rampage about the logging units because they never redid those trails in a lot of logging units down in Thompson River in my area. So yeah, you hit the trail, and if you didn't know where it was, Onyx is close sometimes, but it's not perfect. And so he'd start a rampage about they should be made to fix that, which I agree. I think they should redo that trail somehow.
Well, think of the man hours that went into making those trails back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. I know when I was a kid, they had it was a 20-man hand crew for the Forest Service, their trail crew.
Yeah.
Guys and girls that would go out there and just start from one end and just go through and redo the trail where it needed and, cut stuff out. But crap, back then, some of that stuff was done with hand saws. So they were a different breed than we got now.
Yeah.
I worked with, in 2005, the summer, or 2004 in the summer, we got clean trails 4 and 5 for the Forest Service for an outfitter I worked for. And we did 250 miles that one summer. And I bet we got in 4 or 5 fist fights running a cross-cut saw.
On who was going to cut?
Yeah. You're pushing.
The loser.
Who's pushing, who's pulling? Because you got to keep pulling. Anybody that pushes a tiny little bit pinches that saw.
We used to bring canola oil or something to keep the saw lubed up.
Okay.
Because you're so miserable, after so many hours of messing with it. And, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I think it's going to get back to that. I'd imagine they're going to have to, like Morgan said, they're going to have to use a lot of the outfitters and guides to clean the trails back up with the government cuts and things like that. So I think it's going to be good.
We're meeting with the Forest Service in June to kind of go over some of the trails that we would like to clear. But I think it's only fair. I mean, 2 industries that should be pulling their weight on public land would be logging and outfitting, because we're using public land to make money. So I think those things are going to kind of change, or not even change, really revert back to the older ways of doing things. So it's interesting to see how it'll all play out, just because we're living it.
Yeah.
We're not just hearing stories about it. So that'll be cool to keep everybody updated on.
I have a theory on the logging. Excuse me. I swear that they wait until the road system is so beat up that the Forest Service can't manage it again, and then they just decide to have it logged in there. That way the loggers have to bond the road and fix it back up.
Have to fix the road. Sure.
Guaranteed they'll be logging in Mitten within the next year or two.
Please do the Vermilion.
Please do the Vermilion.
Please log it. My vehicle can't take anymore.
I know. All of the vehicles are just getting torn clear apart.
Yeah.
But
you need all that Baja suspension system on any guide rigs in Montana, Western Montana, I think.
Honestly.
Get that Baja system, and I think they'll hold up, because my Nissan has been, I've had that truck 6 years, and I think I've redone the front end 4 times.
It's not bad.
I don't drive slow either, but especially I drive kind of like when you get dogs treed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I kind of drive like that all the time.
yeah, we had to raise our mountain lion prices, and we're still a bit under a lot of the competing outfitters here, but we did have to raise them. And someone was just asking me, what? Why did you raise them so much? I'm like, well, we've never raised them since the day we started, and I can show you easily all the invoices of fixing trucks and snowmobiles.
Yep.
We're just trying to break even at this point with the lion hunts.
That's
because
it's
vehicles and vet bills, payments and
snowmobile repairs.
It's got the most overhead, which is crazy.
It is. Yeah. It really is. I mean, I know some of the outfitters charge way up there, but you have to, because they don't realize that. They just look at what one hunt gets you.
Yeah.
Where then you got how many rigs running, snowmobiles running.
Yeah.
Then if your dog gets cut up, a vet bill's not cheap. Or worse, if a dog dies, now you got to figure out something else. But so it's just if If I did cat hunting for the money, I wouldn't own my 5 dogs.
So have you always been a houndsman, or did you get into it later in life?
When I was a kid, I was around it a little bit. My dad had a couple buddies that did it. And then, let's see, when I got married, it would have been 31 years ago, I had a hound. And then about that time, not too long after I was married, moved to Kalispell. And then he ended up getting, I think he was either 9 or 12, and he got hip dysplasia. And you can call me any name you want. I'm wussy, I don't care. But I couldn't take the poor dog to the vet. My wife did at the time, and had to go put him down because I was just a wreck. And I'm like, I'm never doing this crap again. And then, so I didn't run any dogs for, man, I bet it had to be about 10, 11 years. And then we moved back to Plains and was working with a buddy and his son. And then his son had 2 leopards and a blue tick. And which I've seen blue ticks, and the ones I had were walkers, but I saw these 2 leopard dogs. I'm like, holy man, those are sweet looking dogs. Talked to him a little bit about it. That was kind of all I thought about it. And then I started guiding again, and we went to run a cat hunt. I'm like, yeah, I haven't done it in years, but yeah, his dogs wouldn't chase their own tail, let alone a cat track. So I called my buddy, and I'm like, hey, is there any way you could help me out? Pay for fuel, something, and then he had a guide license at the time. He goes, yeah, I'll help you, And came in, and the dogs just blew me away, I don't know about, from where you're from back there, how the dog handling used to be, where you tree something, whether you shot it or not, you leashed them up and you dragged the dogs back to the truck and you shoved them into the box, and they were a tool. Yep. Well, we treat this cat, dude shoot, we tie the dogs up, dude shoots it, with a bow, we make sure the arrow's gone, and dogs do their part. They chew on a little bit. And so my buddy goes, all right, let's go. And I'm like, what do you mean, let's go? Just all 3 dogs just single file out. And I'm just like, no leashes. That's all he said was, let's go. And they just single filed him right to the truck. And I'm just like, holy crap. I've never seen that. That was 12 years ago.
GPS is just starting then.
Yep. And I'm like, I got to do this. And so I ended up getting a couple leopards. One of them was actually his, between Rob and him and stuff. We called him our foster dog. The 3 of us had him until he passed.
Got lots of hunting in.
Oh man, that dog, I don't know how many. Time he passed away, he had to be in the 300 plus range of cats.
That's a lot of hunting.
It's a ton. And then my buddy he just lost his dog last year. He was 13, I think. And he had seen, my buddy keeps amazing records like you do for, opportunities of clients. Mm-hmm. He keeps it for his cats. And that dog had seen, I can't exactly remember, it was like 530 cats that dog's seen in his lifetime of 13 years. It was insane.
Yep. That's a hunting dog.
And so that's what got me back in was the leopards. Has got me back in. And then now, 12 years later, I got 5 of them in my yard, and 4 in the yard. One's on she's probably still sleeping on my bed right now. So
it's amazing how hounds, they get into your blood, and it just doesn't
leave.
Ever.
No.
You can take a relapse from it, but
it's always there. Yeah. And I didn't realize how bad I missed it, just from when you're working and stuff. You don't.
Yeah, if you're not around it, as soon as.
Yep. Yeah, and I wasn't around. And back then in Kalispell, where we lived, you didn't see anybody with dog boxes. I mean, I swear to God, there's more in Sanders County than there is in the state of Montana, I think, anymore.
It seems that way.
It's the good and bad of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is the good and bad of it. You get young guys out here, and you're like, sweet, cool. They're wanting to do this as long as they do it right. But that can start a war right there with. How that goes. So, but I would rather see more in a way than less, because then at least it's going to hopefully keep going and have backing for when they come up with stupid laws.
Yeah.
There'll be enough houndsmen to attempt to get together without killing each other. And
yeah, I mean, just look at how Montana went back to making it legal to chase bears with hounds. Like, houndsmen and retired houndsmen and beginning houndsmen, they all came out of the woodwork and fought for that. I think we're the only state that passed a law that we could chase them again. Usually they're reverting back.
They're reverting, yeah.
But I guess California is trying it right now.
I've heard that they're trying.
It's crazy. It's like I just read a news article. The headline was houndsmen letting dogs maul bears.
Attack bears.
Yeah, it's like, wait.
I just saw that. Yeah. And they're like, how do you fight that? Because people aren't going to see our side of that. They're going to see what they see and be like, oh, you can't attack bears. That's mean. Yeah. Well, most time it's the opposite. But anyway.
It's definitely the opposite.
But, you get some gritty dogs like that video with the bear going up the tree with the dog hanging off its tail or butt. I've just sent that about 15 times. Does this really happen? No, it's fake. It's AI.
Yeah. And I guarantee you that dog got hurt more than the bear.
Oh yeah, you could hear it in that dude's voice when that dog landed. You could hear that guy just go, oh. I had a dog fall out like 15 to 18 feet out of a tree once, just a leaner. Mm-hmm. And that was my daughter's very first cat. It was December 25th. We treed that one, nice Tom. And I heard it hit, you know how the creeks will get that ice over the top and then the water dries up, and it hit that. And I thought they were on the ground fighting because I heard a, And I'm like, oh, crap. I just took off running down in there. And I look up, and the cat's up in the tree. Moss is on this leaner, and I can't see Chief. And I'm like, oh, just all the bad stuff goes through your mind. It's never good. Oh, he's just hiding behind the stump. No, you don't think that. But he was. He comes out, and he's holding up his right front paw. And I'm like, oh, and I moved it. And it wasn't broke, but it sprained that wrist part. And I never got to run him till it was April 5th was the next time I got to run him. And then he treed my first cat. So, 18 feet, I couldn't, I got lucky really with him only getting a wrist injury. And then after that, you could tell it would swell up every once in a while in a hard run, but other than that, it was fine.
And probably on April 5th, he was excited to just get going. Like, listen, I don't need that much time off.
So when he fell was, like I said, December 25th. I could have taken him January 1st, and I guaranteed he would have ran.
Yeah, because they love it.
There's no, not pain tolerance. It's the opposite of our pain tolerance. It's just what they can do.
They have a drive to go and chase.
And they will ignore everything. I swear if they got a broken leg, they're going to do it. I know there's a guy in Idaho. I can't think of his name. Was it Idaho Whitetail Guides?
Yeah, Brad.
Yeah, and he's got that black plot with 3 legs.
Yeah.
And it's out there chasing bears and cats. And, here we are with the hangnail going, son of a... I can't pull lumber today because my finger hurts.
So I worked for an outfitter from Maine, and Brad at the Great American Outdoor Show, he was always our neighbor. He was the booth right next to us. So I've talked with him for a lot of years. That guy, he's a serious houndsman. He's a serious hunter.
I love watching his YouTube stuff.
I've never even seen it.
Oh, no, really?
Okay.
There's not much hound stuff I'll watch on YouTube. Just, like I said, we all got different ideas of how it should be done and how we do it. And there's some things I just can't watch on YouTube with houndsmen. So but his stuff, I love watching his stuff because you can tell it's 100% about the dogs. Yeah. It's not about him. It's not about, his, he's promoting his business, but it's those dogs that he's focused on, where some of those YouTube shows, you see 2 clips of the dogs and that's it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
about.
Want
all the glory.
It is,
all that.
And I'm like, dude, if it wasn't for them dogs right there, you wouldn't see a cat hardly ever.
No, it's like a magic trick.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't show what entails. They just show, picture of the dogs in the box and then the cat in the tree. And you're like, what? Wait a minute. What about the dog's glory here that got you that ego that you just got?
Oh, no, you just turn the dogs loose and then go shoot a cat. There's no work involved.
There's no work. No, it's just that quick.
Oh, yeah, we hear that all the time. We're like, they'll be like, I don't want to hunt a lion. I'd rather just shoot one if I see one because, it's too easy. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't even hound hunt. And I'm like, it's not very easy.
You get some runs that are.
Yeah.
I've had some minute and a half runs on a big Tom, and you're just like, No, they're not treed. And you drive up around the corner, and you're like, oh, look at that. They're 50 yards off the road.
Yeah, I just caught one last week that the whole chase was 500 yards.
Yep.
Cold trail to jump.
Yep. And which I kind of love those sometimes. They're nice. But now for me, shooting a cat as a person, it's nothing. I mean, you go up there and you shoot it. But to me, it's 110% what the dogs do.
It's the process getting to that point. You're killing an animal. It doesn't matter how you go about killing it. And if it's in a tree, in a place where it can't get away, and you can ethically execute it.
Yeah.
I mean, without any crazy stuff happening. That's what you want. If I would be that animal, please shoot me out of the tree rather than run me down and blow my leg off and then chase me around the mountain.
And then chase me around the mountain to either end it or not end it, and then you.
If this is how it's going, just do her quick.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, it's like I said, that houndsman thing can be a war within us all with that thing. It's like, well, your breed is stupid. No, my breed's better. No, it's just. I think any dog can. I swear to God, you can take a lab and go chase cats if you put the time and effort into it.
I think the biggest mountain lion ever caught, the largest weight ever caught, was caught by a collie in British Columbia.
Oh, really?
We just read the article on this.
Yeah, it was a border collie.
That.
It was like the record mountain lion, and it was
over 200.
Jeez.
It was a guy's little border collie or something. So
it is amazing what those cats, if they knew what they could do.
Oh yeah,
I wouldn't be out in the woods. No, because you wouldn't know it until there's teeth in your neck.
Yeah,
that's the first clue you'd have.
Some lions, I get to the tree a lot of times before everybody else shows up and you're there, and that lion will not break eye contact with you for hours.
Yep.
I mean, you can walk 40 yards from the tree to take a pee, and he's just locked.
Locked on you. Yep. So I don't remember if it was my youngest boy's first cat tree or not. I can't remember exactly. But there was a bunch of us there, 5 or 7 dogs running around the tree barking. And this cat's just staring at my boy. and he started walking off, and he's like, "Why is that thing staring at me?" I'm like, "'Cause you're the smallest one here." And he stood behind me. But yeah, I mean that's what it seems like, is they pick that smallest one, and then one female we treed for a buddy's wife had a tag, and I got there before them, and then all of a sudden here he comes, and he's wearing. Now I don't know if this is why, but I was there for 10 minutes taking pictures, and she was just sitting on the tree, just chilling, and I'm sure you've noticed that females are always got that look on you, like, you're screwing up my day.
Yeah.
Where the Tom is half asleep, or asleep. Yeah, they're pissed off. They got stuff to do. You're bugging them. And so, but this female was just sitting there, you could tell she's annoyed, but she's just sitting there, and all of a sudden she just like stands up on the limb and just her face changed. And I look back and I see my buddy coming, and he's got one of those beige or buckskin Carhartts, but faded and all ratty. I don't know if that was it. That thing was gone, bailed, which I get a kick when they bail. It's great for the young dogs, This was hours and hours of trying to tree this thing again. And they finally did it. And I mean, the dogs are wore out. The cats wore out, and she shoots it with a bow and everything. But yeah, you could sit there for hours and watch them, and then something just clicks, either that color of his jacket, because I've been to the trees many times when he had camo. We've never had one bail like that, so I don't know if it's just that color or what, but yeah, that cat just turned and was gone.
I like when they do like they stand up in that tree with their front end, like you're saying. I can imagine, and then they just swell up, and they blow themselves fully up, and then that Satan roar comes out of them. That is satanic. Yeah, you can't even.
I have so much respect for a cat. I just sit there with a smile and just watch them, But yeah, they can. God, they'd be spooky if they knew what they could do to us or the dogs or. But they're just, this is history, cat and dog. They're gonna run away from the dogs. But my little lead female, she's give or take 43, 45 pounds. Yeah. And I don't know how many cats she's treated by herself. Yeah. And some decent, 140 plus toms, and I'm just paranoid, because at the time, it was a year after my other dogs got killed, so I just had the two, and my lead female, she's not my lead female, my oldest female, she's just, I'll run it when I want to. So if I was an old school houndsman, that dog would have never made it to a year old, but now she'll be 10 next month. So, but she was my first pup I ever had out of my best dogs, so I keep her. But yeah, she'll take off and then she'll come back. If it's like a super, super hot track, it's like she can't focus. It's like too much scent.
Yeah, winds her up too much.
It does, yep. Now that she's getting older, she's better. And then after the wolf attack, she actually became way better, which blew my mind. But yeah, that a few times she'd take off on a smoking out track and just could not focus. And here my little females out there all by herself with 140 some pound tom that in a second that cat could end that dog. And you get to the tree and she's just sitting there just foamed up at the mouth, just screaming at this cat, and the cat's just up there like, what is this thing?
Yeah, I think it's the volume in the dog's bark a lot of times.
I agree with that.
The intensity in the bark.
Yep. So this one has a very high pitch.
Yeah.
If you're by her, your ears are going to not bleed, but feels like it. She's not got the big old bay mouth, She's not bawling. She's yipping, but.
So you come back from losing a pack of dogs to wolves years ago and built your pack back up. I imagine that would probably have been about the hardest thing to recover from as a houndsman.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it was. So I had 4 dogs on that pack. My buddy had his one. He lost his one, and then I lost you can't ever compare dogs to each other, but he'd be my favorite dog that I'll ever have. And then I had his 8-month-old son, a day from being 8-month-old, and that dog was going to be. You just knew he was going to be a rock star.
If he was cranking a line 8 months old. And
a day from being 8 months old, that was his 20th cat that he was at a tree on that year.
Going to be a superstar.
Yeah. And then I had my best dog's daughter, which she's one that survived that. I had my old boss dog, but he actually went off on a different cat track, and then these tree, and then I picked him up, and then these treed it, and that's when the wolves came in and so killed Chief and then killed Savage. And then 2 hours and 20 minutes of surgery for Cricket to save her. I mean, she has got scars from her chest to her butt, and they just like rolled her over and just chewed her and then took off. If it wasn't for her surviving and then Moss Dog not being in it, if they all got killed, I don't know if I could have done it again.
Yeah, because there's no way of avoiding them.
No.
I mean,
and that was all down in St. Regis. I ran the next year down there, and we had a very close call again, and just with the 2 that I had. And I said, I'm done. I can't run St. Regis. And I know there's guys that are down there constantly and have not had an issue, but when it happens to you, and then it happens a few times, then you lose dogs, and then you go again, and it happens almost again, you're like, I can't do it.
Oh, we've flirted with danger now twice. We've bayed wolves up, and we've just been fortunate enough that we've caught singles or doubles and not large packs.
Yeah.
And that's been our saving grace. And yeah, it's scary. I don't like it. We were talking about earlier, the anxiety, the chewing your nails, it's not fun, actually.
No, it takes the fun out of it at times, and that's why I run Thompson River solely now. I'd love to come up and run with Rob up here and stuff, but I don't know where the wolves are, so it's just an anxiety mental thing that like I can't do it.
I think them packs become dog killers.
So the ones that killed mine, I've heard I think it's like 12 or 13 dogs they've killed over the last 5-6 years down there.
They've got used to it and learned.
They know what they can do.
Yeah.
And,
we have not had any problems with them acting super aggressive with our dogs here. And the
only ones I heard this year was a buddy of mine. He lives in Polson. He's got a cabin up Thompson River, and he sleds over the top Fish Trap Lake into Vermilion.
Yeah.
And he was down on this side of Vermilion, someplace down in there. Had one dog out cold train on a bobcat. I can't remember when that was. I think it was January. Could have been early February. And his dog was cold train, and all of a sudden this dog's just flying off the mountain down. And he's like, okay, maybe he jumped it, but he's not barking. He's like, what is going on? So he's just on his sled, gun in his scabbard on his sled. And he's just watching the GPS, and all of a sudden it's coming to the road, jumps on the road, runs at him. 3 wolves pop on the road and run at him, and then see him on the sled and then bail. And so that's the only one I've heard that close, in this area. But it's like, 3 wolves and 1 dog, that's
not even a chance.
I mean, there was 5 or 6 that killed ours, and, we lost 3 out of the 4 that day, and I was a complete wreck for a while there after that happened. But like I said, if it wasn't for the 2 that survived, I don't know if I can't say I would ever do it or not do it. I don't know. But to me, I don't think I could ever do it again. And then I think it was about a month after that happened, I actually got the pup that got killed. I got a sister littermate to him. I was able to purchase that, and that's my lead dog now. And I went out with a buddy, and we dumped my moss dog, and her name's Halsey. We dumped it on a froze-up lion track up Thompson River, and I was just in the passenger seat of this dude's truck, just biting my fingernails to the bone. And so it took about an hour to tree that female, and I was just a nervous wreck. I mean, I was horrible, and I have so much respect and trust in my buddy that I run with that I knew we were good, but there's that in the back of your mind, like that. What if something moved in that we didn't know about that during the night, or something? But I mean, it worked out great.
Certain guys, like, I feel very comfortable when I'm with my crew of guys. Like,
yeah.
I feel like we can get away with a lot more. You know what I mean? Because you got guys that aren't afraid to get in the woods. I know that they can get in there and handle situations, and no one's going to be sitting at the truck just waiting for something to happen. The second the dogs stall out or they think they're treed and they're locking down on country, we got guys moving in, and that's a huge.
Yeah, and your country here is a lot harder than what I run up Thompson River. Just like I said, we got roads everywhere up Thompson River. So we can, be the lazy houndsman in a way of, you dump them out and you're like, okay, they can go this way or they can go that way. So let's wait. If they go that way, then we'll drive that way. Yeah. We're here. It's like, there is no road. So it's like, if you don't follow them, it could get bad.
Yeah. Rob and I, we just walked 2.3 miles to the top of a mountain to the hounds. You could hear them from the truck at 2.3 miles, the same as when we were 300 yards from the tree and 3 feet of snow the other day. It took us almost 3 hours to do that.
I bet. Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, but Rob's an animal, though, so
yeah.
I don't even – Rob's got agility in his pinky that I got in my body for age and shape. But
yeah, I really enjoy hunting with Rob and I. We hunt a good bit together. Any free chance we don't have clients or anything, we're usually – or if we find a track, we always pow in together.
Nice, yeah.
It makes it very nice to get along with houndsmen, the good houndsmen in the area.
Yes, yeah.
Because then you're not walking on each other, stepping on toes.
Oh, it can be a war. I know Thompson River's gotten so busy with outfitters and locals.
I don't get down there because of it.
There's another outfitter that quit running Thompson River just because of, there's another outfitter down there that he had. I saw 5. I was told 7 trucks running, this year. And I'm out there for fun. My buddy's out there for fun. I had a buddy that he just got 2 pups given to him. They're older. I think they're Plot Walker mix or Plot English mix. He is working his butt off this year to get them pups started, but it's a horrible year up Thompson River. So, his pups are struggling. His female's starting to kind of catch on, with some training and stuff. But yeah, the people are just everywhere this year. I mean, we never had any bad things happen, or anything.
It's not like the old days where they're blocking roads and fist fighting yet.
No. That was about the time I got out of it is when that started, and it's like, holy moly, that was bad.
And they wondered why they got rid of our quota system.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it is up Thompson River, not that bad, but it was, marking tracks, which I'm fine with marking a track. I mean, if you find it, you found it first. It's yours. You need to go find, if it's fresher somewhere else, then by all means, I think you should. I mean, most of the time it seems like my buddy and I always, no matter what, we think we got the better end, and then it's always a cold end because we think that's a different track, and then it's a lot of times the same stupid track. We apologize to our dogs for making them run an extra 3 miles or something.
We do that too.
But
You're
a lot
not
of
the only one.
but a lot of it is nowadays is, whenever I would take like a 7-Up bottle and mark a track, and then I'd come back, and if I didn't run that or we found fresh, I'd come back and pick up my trash. Where the last few years up Thompson River, there's some beer cans laying along the road on a track, and you drive by at noon, and that beer can is still sitting there, and it's like.
But if you would run it, they'd be mad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my buddy and I are kind of like, he's kind of about an hour earlier. He's like, if nobody's on that track by 9, I'm picking up trash, and oh, hey, there's a cat track. And I'm about 10 o'clock. I give him a little bit more, but it's like, if you're not there by 10 o'clock, you ain't running that track.
No. No,
you found something else, or, and so we see that a lot, which can be frustrating, but we haven't had any, downright screaming matches or nothing. I know a couple years ago, one was mad at me because he was doing 5 miles an hour on the main road, and I kept blowing past him, and I guess that upset him. But other than that, we haven't had any issues. But when you're on the main road, if you're on any side road and I come up behind you, sorry, I'm turning around, leaving, going somewhere else. But when you're on the main road to get access to everything else, it's
everything.
Like, get the hell over. Let people by. Not really.
I think we've covered everything under the sun.
We didn't cover fishing, but I don't do fishing much either. So
we got to have my boy here. Well, Jay's a fishing guy.
Are you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I used to bass fish a lot, but I'd rather be out in the woods anymore than cast a stupid pole. But
I enjoy guiding, honestly, a lot more than I do just going out fishing for myself.
Okay.
I like rowing the boat.
That's the only thing.
I don't know. I really enjoy that part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't try to go out in boats very often. I don't swim, so I know they make life jackets, but I hate them. I'll go out on big boats like Flathead. We do that a couple times a year, but yeah, just rowing a boat down the river. I'll stay on the bank.
Jay, you were Orvis Fly Fishing Guide of the Year, eh?
No, just nominated.
Nominated.
Just nominated.
Okay. I liked my version better.
Yeah.
That's still pristine award to even be nominated for.
Heck yeah.
Yep, stuck in a 16-foot boat with people. That's serious guiding. You can't hide off in the woods.
No, you can't. I'm a glass over here. You glass that. Yeah. Wouldn't work in boats.
All the fly fishing clients are all the same. They're some like guy from Pennsylvania, dentist, or Wisconsin, and they're all normally pretty chill, and you only have to deal with them for a day or two.
Yeah,
and then they're gone.
Yeah. So is that like half day trips then usually, or is that a full day?
Typically full days. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So because I know I got a couple buddies that want to get into that and stuff, and I'm like, dude, don't ask me.
There's a lot of opportunity out there. It's pretty decent.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems pretty dang popular anymore. I know there's a Big Fork Anglers at a Big Fork. They come down and float from Regis to Plains in that area, and I see the boats there at Town Pump in the mornings in the summer. And it seems to get more and more popular. So.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's like you said. You're only with them for a little bit, so you get those one certain clients that
you're not stuck with them for a whole week.
For a week that you're like, this is going to be so long. Where if it's one day, you're like, okay, I can do this.
So if you're going to be one of them clients this year, don't be one of those clients. Be one of the other clients for us.
The other ones that I've got a couple clients that I've guided 12, 13 years ago that we don't talk a lot, but at least a couple times a year.
Yeah, stay in touch. And
Yeah. So those are the ones that you're like, I got to keep guiding. And I guided one 3 years ago that I don't think there's a week that goes by that one of us don't text.
Yeah, I have multiple clients like that too, and we're really good friends.
Yeah.
On top of hunting buddies.
Yep. Yeah, you kind of feel bad if they book back because you're like, I don't want to take your money.
Yeah.
I kind of have to, but I don't. I'd rather just take you for free and go for fun.
Yeah, come out in the summer and just hang out.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's also very smart as a client to become like a good friend with your guide, because then if you are planning on returning and stuff, you're hunting that much. You're going to be hunting better because
you're getting that much more effort.
Yeah.
Out of that guide to break his butt and go out there and.
Yeah. And you guys become friends, and then you know how each other like hunts and stuff. So we have a lot of clients like that they come in, barely even know them, and they leave here practically family. And then they come back every year, every 2 years. And
you're hunting that week. You're not babysitting.
Exactly. you're not adult babysitting. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's the good and bad about guiding is that we're it could be so different if they just give that little effort. And, even if they're not in the greatest shape, just mentally tough is I think 100 times better than physically fit.
Do you sound that we say the same exact? It's nice hearing you say because people listen to this. Honestly, we say the same thing, and it's mentally.
It's huge mentally. I mean, I don't care if you're local or non-resident or at guides too. Is that way? I mean, I think besides, you could go either way on the mental thing with guides, but but I mean, you got to be mentally tough to be a guide and to do that. And where some of the clients are here for 5 to 7 days, and you're here for 365 days to do this, and so it does get a little not depressing, and just I guess frustrating when they could climb that hill.
Yeah.
But mentally they're like, oh, I can't do it.
Yeah, and you're like,
and you just,
dude, I've guided 100 people, and a lot of you have the same mentality. I've drug people up this mountain, and we're way worse shape than you. You can do it. Yeah, and it amazes me.
And then that, there's some days that you're like, you're going to encourage that dude, and there's days that you're like, well, fine then, I'm done. You're not going to do this. I give up. We're going to go on this flat spot and not see nothing.
Yep.
Yeah, you almost feel guilty because they paid the money, and you want them to kill something, and you're like, please just get up this hill. It'll take a little bit longer, but it's fine. And, but.
Or you're calling them up there and don't see anything.
Then they hate you the whole way down, and you're just probably like the whole way down, you're like, oh, my tip's going to suck.
Yep. Yeah. There's a joke that guides and I had that I think there's like 3 things in the world that you can be wrong at constantly, but people will still come to you. One's a weather person. You can be and every day you're cussing them out, and then you look at the weather the next day to see what they're saying. Doctors can be wrong, and sorry, we'll try this. And a guide, because let's get up on top of this, we'll see something, and then you don't. You're like, guess not today.
Yeah,
but we're going to try it tomorrow. Okay.
Hunting amnesia.
Yeah.
Yep. You have guide amnesia. You have to have it. Jay and I always talk about it. You have to have short memory being a guide.
Yep.
You do. You have to just. That was last week.
That was last week.
Week.
Yeah. You're just like, I hope these guys aren't like that. And then the first day, you're either like, oh, thank God, or oh crap.
So while we have you on the podcast, out of all of your guiding and outfitting experience, what's the one story that like sticks out in your head? Like
good or bad, or
either one?
Either one. I've got the bad part. One was I didn't carry my spotter that day, and the client I had, I swear he was with the mob. He had the gold chains, and everything. New Jersey guy, and I spotted a bull at 700-800 yards, and it was just a raghorn. What I could tell with binoculars. And I regret not bringing my spotter, but it is what it is. And I told him, I said, I can't tell if he's legal. And I said, he's going to come out from the brush and we'll try to look. And I said, I can't. Boom. And the dude drops this thing at 713 yards. And I'm just like, I didn't tell you to shoot. Yeah, I did. I heard you. I'm like, oh, it's going to be this way. I just left, went down the hill, climbed up the hill, got to the bull. It's a 3x3, and I'm looking like, and back then it wasn't the lower it had to be on the lower half, of that eye guard part. And this was like, so it's basically a spike. It's a 3-point spike.
Right.
The size of it.
Yeah.
And so lucky enough, I had service. I called our game warden way back. This is 15 years ago. I called the game warden. I said, dude, I don't know what to do here. And this dude's huffing it up the hill, so he doesn't hear me. And I said, this dude shot, and I didn't tell him. And he goes, well, he says, what, do you got string or nothing? I'm like, dude, I don't have string with me. And so what I did is I put my hands, put my pinky and thumb out from the burr up, and then from the top of the tine, tip of the horn down. And he goes, well, where's that horn closest to? And I said, well, it's closer to the burr than it is to the tip. He goes, yeah, you're good. No worries. He goes, if you want to, send me a picture when you get out or whatever. I don't care. And so it was legal, but that dude just took it upon him. He just shot. And so that was probably one of the worst moments of that part.
Yeah, because you're just panicking
the
whole time.
I'm just like, it's the first time I ever guided for this outfitter. It's like the third day of the hunt or some stupid thing, and I'm just like freaking out because, this guy's going to lie. He already just did.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I have to try to defend myself, and hopefully that, people will believe me on it versus this dude and I swear he's from the mob. It was he could shoot. I'll give him that. That was the scary part. Oh, but yeah, I've had some bad ones. That there was the worst one. It was a fall bear, and the son that he had was great. Got him a bear the second day of the hunt, and he was just very thankful, and that the son, the father was he just expected everything to be handed to him, and you click with people, and the other ones you don't, and he was one that I could have thrown him off a cliff and walked away with a smile. And I think people would have been helping probably because I know the outfitter's wife, even she's very easygoing, and she was just like, this guy is a jerk. I'm like, wow, I've never heard her say that.
Yeah, and it's so hard when you have those people in camp because it just brings the whole morale down.
It does.
And it's like, fortunately, the past couple of years, we haven't had many clients like that going to shows and meeting people and talking to them on the phone and everything. It's been helping. We haven't had any like sour clients.
Complete dirtbags.
Yeah, to where you were like, get out. Go, I will refund your money. Just like, please leave. My guide is gonna quit. I need him for the next 5 weeks.
Yeah.
We haven't had that for.
Yeah.
We haven't
and
had that for a long time.
It's the first week of archery. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
I know the outfitter I used to guide for down there. He would, and that's the thing. You get all kinds, but and some you can't really know until they get here.
Yeah.
And for the most part down there, it was always decent guys, but every once in a while you get those ones that just that one out of 100 can ruin it. Just you walk in the lodge and you just feel it. Like somebody's going to get their ass kicked.
I could always tell, like when I would do an airport run, and you're picking up like 4 guys, and somebody jumps in the front seat when there's an elderly guy, and they make him crawl in the back. You can already be like,
you already know
that guy's going to be a douchebag all week, guaranteed. Didn't help anybody load any stuff
just
up in the truck,
or got in and watched.
Yep.
You
can just tell. It's like, man, who were your parents?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, no one's going to want to get in the truck this year at the airport.
Nobody will get in the front seat with him
They'll
now.
all be in the back seat.
I know you don't supposed to judge, but we do.
Yeah.
You have to.
You have to.
It's just human nature. But yeah, you judge the minute you see him at the airport, the minute you pick him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they can say one thing on the phone, and you're like, oh, cool. And then you get them, and you're like, no, this ain't who I talk to. Yeah. So the minute they step off, you're like, depends on, and especially when like when we have guys that drive in, and they step out, and I mean, I wear every camo that's out there, but you see them in, brand new Sitka or QU and brand new Kenetrek boots that just came off out of the box.
Not even a scuffle in the leather.
You're just shaking your head like, he's gonna have a long week.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we've had that. And we all stare at people's boots as soon as they walk in.
Yes.
I'm like,
Yep.
no, please tell me you have an old pair stashed in your gear there.
Yep.
No, I walk I walked around these for 50 miles. You're like, they're not even scuffed. Dude didn't walk 50 miles in them.
Yeah. In a carpeted building, maybe. But yeah. About the only boot I ever, if I see guys that walk in and it's a brand new pair of Crispies, I'll be like, okay. I've never had a brand new pair of Crispies ever hurt. But
yeah.
That's what Jay says, too.
I don't think they last as long. I think they're sold. I know mine get beat up, but
yeah, definitely.
But I can pick them out of a freaking box and go hike 10 miles, and my feet won't hurt. Everything else on me is going to hurt. But the boots just seem to be. I think they're soft enough where they just don't. Where Kenetrex are more that. I always think they're more of the sheep hunting boot than, for that type of style. They're so stiff, But yeah, it's like 75 miles or something for Kenetrex to start breaking in. So.
I put a pair of Kenetrex on just out of the box. Second day of rifle season. I think we hiked like 8 or 9 miles, but our feet, as being a guide, yours is nasty and calloused.
Oh, they are. Yeah.
Mountain tough feet. You could put on anything, wooden shoes, and I think walk around.
Or if you're a kid, you can wear hey dudes across the countryside. I'll let them young kids do that.
Yeah, that's just the young ones because their brain hasn't told them that they're starting.
They don't know what
yet.
Pain is yet.
Not yet.
It's
Nothing hurts.
It is not fused up here yet to even know what pain is. And yeah, they might pretend. It seems like they know pain when you got to work, though.
Oh yeah.
then they're like, oh, I hurt. Uh-huh. Yep. I do want to say one thing about your guys' business is I have a lot of respect for it and very impressed, especially with you, Morgan, of how you break the opportunities down. I mean, that's just, I don't think there's anything that could be more honest.
Yeah.
Where I see other outfitters that like, oh yeah, we do this and do that, but they can't go, no, here's what has happened.
Yeah. When you tell them that 23% on rifle elk, we're not lying. Yeah. I mean, you just break it down.
Yeah. And I like how it's broke down with, the guide saying, the client F this one up. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, another client could have killed that bull.
Yeah.
Or no, we didn't hear crap this week. That's just part of hunting. So
it's been a super good tool for us just because I think people feel more comfortable booking with us because we're like, look, we're just going to be honest.
That's it.
And we're going to give you a great time. We just don't. You might not kill something, but you'll go back with a lot of stories. It's a good memory. And, that scares some people off. They'll look at the 23% and they'll be like, oh, my friends won't think I'm a good hunter. I don't want to go there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, those people in camp, you can't make them happy unless you kill something. And, we're trying to.
I don't want those guys.
Yeah, we're trying
to be honest. Yeah. I mean, you do outfitting because you want to make the money, but I'd rather not have that guy, and I'd rather have somebody that is just going to be hunting for half the price, and be like, yeah, I didn't get nothing. We tried. We worked our ass off to try to get something, and it just didn't happen, but I'm coming back.
Yeah.
Where you get those other guys that are, not saying they're spoiled, maybe, that, well, I didn't kill nothing, I'm going somewhere else. Well, then go find a ranch, ranch to hunt or a high fence. That's what you need. And I've told clients that before. It's like, this is not for you. You need to go to a high fence. You need to go to a ranch that you draw a tag for, or you just buy a landowner tag and you walk in there and, well, we got this size or we got that size. That size, a few more $1,000. Okay, I'll take that. That's what those guys need.
Yeah.
It's not a public land hunt for them, but then you don't know that till they get here sometimes.
And sometimes we'll have clients that hunt with us for like 5 years and don't kill anything, and they've put in so much effort and time and struggles, and and then you're just looking at them and you're like, go to a ranch and kill something. You deserve it at this point.
That's it.
Just mix the stories up. Tell them a story from how hard you hunted here, and
take a picture of here with your bull.
Like,
just
you've
if they don't
earned it.
ask, don't tell.
Yeah, definitely. And it's all about those memories that they have here and down there and, anywhere really. But if you're only going on a hunt to kill something, it's going to take all the memories that you could possibly make. It's just going to take it away because you're going to be so stressed out that you have to have, that picture on Facebook or, that mount in your house to tell the story. It's like all that stress is going to eat your whole memory right away.
Yeah. And I don't know about you guys. I've seen like some of the dudes that you just absolutely want for them to kill anything. And for whatever reason, it doesn't happen.
Right.
But then you get some freaking a-hole in camp. That's it just walked out in front of me at 50 yards, a 300-inch bull, and you're like, you don't deserve that bull. This guy deserves that, but it doesn't happen. That's there's nothing you can do about it. It's not fair, I don't think. But
it's not. I tell them straight up, you're not living right. Something's not right in your life. You are something. Something's out of place.
Yep.
You gotta have to go and do some soul searching.
I had a father and son come out when I was outfitting on my own for spring bear. And I mean, spring bear, you're usually sitting on top of a mountain going, oh, there's that one, there's that one. There's 5, 6, 7 bears you're looking at.
Yep.
In 5 days, we saw one. And I would have taken the gun out of their hand if they tried to shoot it, because if they shot it, they would have to come back next year for the other slipper. But I mean, it was just booted out, and I'm like, and that thing was booking across the road. They couldn't have shot it if they wanted to, but I had a guy like that, and I'm like, what have you done in your life? Then they leave, and 2 days later, I take somebody else out, and we shoot a bear the first evening.
Same spot, same scenario.
That was before where Calico, where it burned, however many years ago. That was mine and probably 2 or 3 other outfitters' favorite places to bear hunt. I mean, it was ridiculous how many bears were in there, and there's roads up top of each other that are all gated, and somebody get to the one, we're like, okay, we'll go to the bottom one or the upper one, whatever. And you'd hear them shoot, and you're like, oh, dang it. And all of a sudden, oh, there's a bear. And it was just like that over years and years. It would never end. And then when it burned, it kind of pretty much killed it off. But that was some of those places where I took them in, and I'd see, 8, 10 bears in a week in there, and I took them in there, and I'd see bear crap. And I mean, you'd hit it in that perfect evening, the last hour or so of the evening, just like any second, you're just like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Yeah. And 5 days later, you're like,
it got dark on us again.
What the hell? And then I go back in there 2 days later, and you're like, yeah, shoot that one.
Yeah.
The ride back to the lodge on Saturday and not killing anything is the most awkward ride ever on earth. Because you're trying to hey man, it was a good hunt. We hunted hard. Meanwhile, they're like, how
much money did I spend to get here, and how much money I'm spending to go home? And now I have to tell my wife that, no, I didn't get nothing.
Yeah.
You're trying to smooth it over with them, and you're looking at their eyes, and it's not happening.
Yeah. I've had those guys, and then I've had the guys that they get hunting. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like, you know what? I can't ask for any more. We worked our ass off. You did what you needed to do, and it just didn't happen. And those are kind of rare, but yeah, you got the other ones that are just like, why didn't we see anything? I don't know. If I knew that, I wouldn't be guiding. I'd be rich.
Yeah, you just have your checklist of excuses that you're like, okay, just pick one of these.
I thought about doing that one time as a joke, getting a Rolodex, just have it, just go buy it, see what under excuses, see what they say.
So we were gonna get one of those little 8 balls that you would shake.
Oh yeah.
But we were gonna take it apart and put hunting spots in it. And then when you didn't know where to go that morning, you'd be like, all right, someone go shake the ball. All right.
Or have it all written out in a little bucket or something, just pick one. But then, I don't know if you're like that, where you think of something all night long. You're like, yeah, I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here. First thing in the morning, you're like, yeah, I'm going to go here. And then you get out in the truck and you start driving, and you're like, nope, and go to a different spot. And sometimes it works, sometimes it don't, but I'm horrible with that of I'm going over here instead. Yeah, sometimes it's work, and other times no. It's just desolate wasteland. But I think that's the fun of hunting. I think is
I do too.
Is picking the right spot at the right time. So,
and we hunt so many days in a row, and that I take it as that's like there's a reasoning why I thought of that place. I'm supposed to go there, so I won't even. I'll go with a blank slate all night, and if I don't think of it or it don't come to me, I don't know where we're going yet. Actually, sometimes I don't know where we're going when I see the mailbox and I'm turning out of the driveway with the clients.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, and I'm honest with them, too. It's like, and they don't know anything where we're going. We could lie our butts off to them, and they won't know, but I don't. But, yeah, I'm just like, you know what, right now, I got a spot in my mind, but I don't know if that's where I'm going.
Yep.
And the biggest bear I ever guided to he was squared 7 foot half inch. And all day long, the outfitters telling me to go somewhere else. I'm going to go to this spot. Okay, I'm going to go to this spot. I don't want to go to that spot. There's other spot in your mind. And like, all right. Didn't tell him that's where I was going. I left and then just turned. And the client, just after a few days, they're like, no, that other spot's the other way. You're going someplace else. I'm like, yeah. Went in there, set the one dude up. He had a bad knee. Walked the other dude around and just sat down. We were killing ticks. The springtime bear fun.
Yeah.
Got to keep track of how many ticks you got. And I looked up on the hill, and there's just this auburn chocolate, just that looked like a neon sign. And the dude couldn't see it. It's at 400 yards. I'm like, it's right there. It's right there. Where? Bear walks off. We go up there. We end up getting on him. He shoots it at 50 yards. And this bear's just a tank. I get home, get back into service like at 1:30 in the morning. I got texts, phone calls from the outfitter and other guides, which, cool, And I told him, I said, no, I went somewhere else. He wasn't too happy about that part. The bear part was great, but that's this, I think, part of being a guide too is don't go where you're forced to go.
Exactly.
You got to trust your gut.
Yeah.
I think is huge, but.
Plus, when it all works out like that, you're like, I'm the best
guide
out there.
I knew it. Yeah. When it don't, you're like, maybe next time.
I told you we should have went there.
I knew we should have went to that other spot.
Or when you're going to go to a spot and you're like, I was going to go there, and another guide's having the same problem, and you're like, dude, you just go there. I'll go somewhere else today. And then they shoot a bull. You're like,
they kill something.
Really?
Nice job, you jerk. I don't know if, for you guys, years ago when I was guiding, it was a kind of almost a cutthroat thing. You didn't tell where you saw stuff. You didn't say where you were going. You just went, yeah, I'm in the woods.
Yep.
You didn't take good pictures because the guys knew where you were.
Yep.
And 3 years ago when I went back to guiding for the outfitter there in Plains, I was kind of nervous about that because that's how my mentality of years ago was, is that, and then when I did my own, that was different. But working for another outfitter, you get there and they got 90% of them are all brand new. Mm-hmm. You're like, we'll see where this goes. That was the best 2 years of guiding that I've ever had. Is those guys, and I still talk to every one of them. I mean, we still go hunting. We go horn hunting. I just went with one just last week horn hunting. So I mean that just. I think that's how it is with a lot of the guys anymore.
Yes.
It's like almost a family, like your buddies.
Yep, that's the way our crew is for 100%. Now, people I've worked for, it's just like you're talking. I would say I'm going somewhere. I'd go pull the outfitters. I'd be like, I've been bullshitting about that, but where I'm going.
Yep. Yeah, send them a text. Yeah, and
everything's smoke and mirrors.
And it's stressful in the lodge. Mm-hmm. I mean, and the clients can read that.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, well, don't you talk to him? No, I don't talk to him. He's a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all the clients, like right before they get out of the truck, they're getting the pep talk. Don't tell anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Don't describe. It's like, this is awkward as can be. So, yeah, we put a stop to that. So it doesn't happen much here anymore. Everyone works really well together. But
and I think that builds enough respect that I'm not going to go to his spot just because he'd seen a buck prior. I mean, even though you're doing the same job for a client, it's like, no, that's his spot. If he tells me, he says, I can't get my guy in there. I want you to go in there. Sweet. And I'll return the favors if
that's what we've been doing.
Right. Yeah. And I think that makes a business better, makes the clients go like, man, you guys do stuff together.
Yep.
Yeah, it's nice, and it just creates a way better atmosphere. There's enough stuff to stress about. That is one of the dumbest things to stress about.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, George, for coming
I appreciate it.
No,
it was fun.
We'll do this more. We got to get a bunch of us hound guys together
and
have
cool.
like a big hound one. But, well, is that it?
Maybe.
We're going to do it this time. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And until next time.
All right.
Yep.